Hello guys, today we're gonna do a tutorial and teach you how to cut MA chassis. Also for the next couple video I'm still gonna focus like different way like how to cut MA chassis. First let's take a look at the dimension of MA chassis, then talk about a little bit of why we need to cut and modify the chassis a little bit. Okay, let's take a look at the dimension of MA chassis. It is about 152 millimeter long. Okay, so as you guys know, the Tamiya regulation only allowed the maximum for the dimension for the longest for the car is 165. Okay, so basically MA chassis right now the dimension is 152, which means you only have about another 13 millimeter space and for the extension. Okay, first of all, and the reason you want to cut it because the dimension of the MA chassis, which is 152, and think about it, when you try to using a 19 millimeter roller on both ends, which is the front and the back. So after that, so we're gonna move backward a little bit and then make sure it lines up with the sitting board. Okay, so it's level in the front. Okay, and then next we're gonna put the standard, the multi-roller rear plate. On the back of chassis, and of course we're gonna put another two 19 millimeter roller on the back as well. Okay, let me move my camera a little bit closer, you can see the detail. If you are sitting, it's like this, okay? So as you can see, when you have brake on the back, so the right now dimension is 167, which is already exceeded it's already being an illegal dimension. In order to preventing this happen and making a legal dimension for your MA chassis by using both ends for 19 millimeter roller, you have two options. First option, you have to cut your chassis, and the second option you have, it is just remove this piece off and using a little bit shorter brake. And first let's talk about the cutting off the chassis. The first advantage of cutting off the chassis, it is after you cut off, of course you're losing the weight and your chassis is going to be lighter. The second thing, you don't need that much mounting point on the chassis to supporting the whole carbon fiber, because the carbon fiber is pretty strong, so you just need a little bit like a support, and it's going to be very strong. And the second thing, third thing, it is going to be, after you cut off, it's going to be very easy to mount a very single pieces carbon fiber on both ends, and it makes it more easier. Okay, and the last thing, after you cut off the chassis, and you won't have any problem to using a 19 millimeter roller on both ends. Okay, let me give you a sample. This is the chassis already cut off. So after you cut off the chassis, and then you're gonna mount the front roller stay a little bit behind the regular line. So it's gonna be after you cut it, and you're gonna mount this one a little bit behind. And then basically, let me give you a sample. After you cut it, this piece basically gonna be here. So as you can see, this is a piece you're gonna cut off. So in this case, your roller can go back a little bit. Then in this case, you have enough. You save a little bit space on the front, so you have more. You're gonna using that space in extend to the back. So that's called a that's called to save the space on the front and extend the space on the back. Okay, second thing, because if your roller is on the front, is more close to the front wheel, it's give you better cornering speed, so it's improved speed on turn. Okay, and also the back you want to cut out well. So the back, after you cut it, I mean before you cut it, you're probably gonna mounting your roller, which is right here. Okay, so if you're mounting your roller right here, which is your roller gonna be too much distance right here between the against the rear wheel. Okay, let me tell you this. The longest the roller distance you have, it has a better speed on the acceleration of straight section, but you're gonna have very slow speed on the cornering, because the longer distance you have the more resistance you have on the corner. So most of Japan Cup, people set up roller, try to get it pretty close to the both wheels, so like this. So the front roller have to be pretty close to the front wheel, but not too close, but it's gonna be a little bit closer. So same as the back. So if you don't cut your chassis, so your roller basically gonna be right here. Okay, the front is basically gonna be right here. So in this means you have a longer distance on the roller setting. In this case, you probably have better acceleration on the straight, but the corner, because longer distance have, I've told you guys, longer distance has like a very higher resistance on corner. Also, again, after you short the distance of the roller, you have more space you can put on the back for set up longer brake on the back. Okay, so you save the space and put on the back. And actually, for the acceleration for the straight section, you can using another setting. You can using wider distance on the wheel to improve the straight section, the speed. So anyway, let me just go ahead and cut my chassis, and I can explain the rest of when I finish. Okay, so the piece you want to cut, it is gonna, let me move on my camera a little bit, you can see. Okay, the piece I want to cut is this piece right here, but you want to keep this right here, this hole right here. Okay, so the whole piece right here, the white spot, which is a mark right now, is all be gone. Okay, and also same thing we're gonna do on the other side. Okay, for the rear, this is the piece you're gonna cut off. Okay, just mark everything right now. So again, all the white spot is the piece you're gonna remove. It's gonna be like this. Okay, as you can see, there's a two different hole on the back. You have option. Either to keep the second hole on the back, or either to cut off. It just depends on your setting. So if you're gonna mount a longer brake on that hole, on the second hole right there, you better keep it. But today I'm just gonna cut off, because I'm not gonna using that hole to mount anything on the back. So just gonna mark it. Okay. It's gonna be like this. So that's all the piece gonna remove. Okay, and I think that's it. Then next, just gonna using a Dremel, and please do not using any plastic cutter, just using Dremel, because like this kind of plastic color gonna damage the fiber of plastic. So it's better to using Dremel and using this kind of like a cut off discs. Okay, so let me just go ahead and cut it, and just put this piece on. Okay, before I starting to cut a chassis, I'm gonna weight how much weight right now, and I'm also gonna weight after I cut off. Okay, so let me using this scale and put the so right now the chassis including all the terminal, it is 26.48 grand. Okay, so let me just go ahead and starting to cut the chassis. Okay, just finished the cutting, and of course for better looking, you better using a knife to fix a little bit, and also using the file to file the surface, makes it a little bit flat and smooth. And here, just let me, okay, so after I cut everything, let me wait again. So right now it is 24.22 grand. So basically you save 2 grand right now. And for the advanced setting, if you want to save more weight, you can consider about to remove the battery compartment, which right here, or something like this type. Okay, I personally prefer this way because this one right here, you better keep a little bit piece right here to giving a maximum support on the chassis, because you overcutting it, it's the chassis getting really fragile. So for the maximum supporting, you better keep some pieces right here to giving a little bit support on the side. Okay, for the middle side damper mount right here, it depends on your setting. If you have the body damper system, which right here, so you can remove this piece like the one I have right here. It's completely remove. If you're not gonna do the body damper system using if you're just gonna do the regular setting and putting a side damper right here, you better want to keep this piece right here, because if you without this piece you cannot mount anything in the middle. Okay. Let's talk about a little bit right now about after I cut off these pieces. Remember before we cut off this piece, actually it's getting too front. So after we cut off everything, right now the dimension for the chassis, it is 140. Okay, so in this case you have like a 25 millimeter space on the back right now. So in this case you can put more stuff. And also your body, the roller distance on the body, when you mount, it's going to be more shorter. So like this type of setting, when the roller is, like I told you guys before, when the roller distance, between this one is shorter distance, and it's more close to the wheel right here, and you're going to have better cornering speed. Okay, that's because when that's basically it's very simple math in physics, because longer distance, when a corner, you have more pressure when the angle is longer. So when you have shorter, of course you have less resistance when it's turning the corner. So okay, anyway, so when you have this piece removed on the back and on the back and the front, so we're gonna have a better angle and a better distance when you're mounting the plate on the front and back. So let me just go ahead and mounting the front plate and the rear plate, then I can show the difference. I think it's better to cutting the chassis because if you're not cutting anything, it's for me, to me, it's really hard to mounting anything because whatever I mount, it's gonna be oversized. Okay, so because I don't need that much long, I just need enough the size can mounting the both end of the roller, and also I need longer. I need a extra space on the back. I can mounting some piece like that, or either some kind of extension piece like this, kind of can make my rear brake a little bit like a extend on the back. Okay, so let me just go ahead and finish the other pieces. So for all the scrap on the chassis, I'm not gonna fix right now, but you know, again, for saving the time, I'm not gonna fix it. But it's better way just using a knife to peel off and using files to, you know, to make it smooth. So always fix out your scraps. Okay, so let me just go ahead and try to finish the rest of the setting. Then I can show the difference. So after I cut off everything, and mount like this. Okay, so right now you can see. So by the way, this piece right here, see a little piece stick out right here. You better remove it as well because that's the piece you don't need it. Just make sure you follow the line. Okay, just don't overcutting it. Okay, so just take a look at it right now. After I set up everything, including the front plate and the rear plate, right now my car, it is just for the chassis itself. Right now it's 140. Okay, so remember before it's 152. Let me give you another original MA chassis. You can take a look at it, see the difference like a bit before and after we cut off. Okay, so just gonna open this one, brand new, the green MA chassis. Okay, and you can see side by side. Let me give you a better angle, you can see it by side. Okay, so very obviously you can see, let me folks can see the difference. Okay, you can see this piece right here actually it's stick out really a lot. So this piece right here really safe, but make sure this setting, like the way I'm cutting, only fit to technical. Okay, because if you cutting like that, the large diameter wheel will no longer fit to this chassis anymore. You only type of size wheel you can using is 20. It's all the wheel between 22 and 26. Okay, so if you're using like any wheel more than 28, I believe, or 29, such as like a like this type of like offset large diameter without a cutting or either like trim off, reduce the dimension of the tire. This all the big size of diameter wheel no longer to fit this chassis, because this type of setting we always do technical truck. So for technical truck, so best recommend is for the using the medium size of wheel, which is like this one right here, or either small diameter wheel like this type of right here. Okay, or either large diameter tire you trim to the medium size, like for example like this one. This is actually is original size was 31 millimeter diameter. So after I trim off the extra parts, so this tire become low, we call it low profile, and it become more slim, and the size right now for this wheel is 26.5. Okay, this type of setting only fit to a medium and a small diameter size the tire, okay, and the wheel. And of course, when you have this type of setting, the most advantage you have, it is you can put a large roller and on the front and in the back as well. So in this case, your dimension for the Tamiya regulation will not being illegal. So let me just put this two roller right here and it lines up with the setting board. So as you can see, it's like gonna be like this. Okay, so of course, see the back right here. So you have more space in the back. You can put any kind of like extension for the brake we want it, especially if you want to extend it like longer, like this type of brake right here. If you want to extend up to here, you go ahead and do it, because I'm telling you, all my car, doesn't matter what kind of car making for technical, all my brake, the rear brake and the front brake, the dimension of my car always 165 even. The reason I make it 165 even, because I try to using as much as space I can, because longer brake system you have, and that's how stable when you jump. Okay, let me give you a little bit of demonstration for the advantage of longer brake system. Okay, let's take a look at this truck. Okay, I already set up a slope right here, which you can see the red section is the slope. Okay, so let me focus a little bit. You can see it. Okay, this car right here, it is longer brake system. It is 165 for the car. I'm just gonna explain to you by this one right here. So when you have longer brake system, which means when you car hitting right here, okay, I can feel my brake system is triggered right now. So when you have longer brake system, which is right here, so when your car first hit the slope, so the front gonna lift up, because you have longer brake system, so the back right here piece gonna be action earlier. Okay, so which means you have really earlier motion on the under slowing down for the jump. Okay, like this. See my car? See my car. My brake action actually pretty early. When my car hitting the slope, right here, about right here. Okay, almost halfway my car is already have the brake right here. It's touching the ground. So you have longer brake system. So the benefit it is like your car can slow down earlier. Okay, so in this case, for a jump, you're gonna be more stable. Think about it. If your car has really short brake, trust me, your car gonna be about right here. Okay, then the brake is gonna start working. In this case, the up angle gonna be higher, so your car gonna jump a little bit higher. It's less stable. So longer brake, when your car have brake trigger earlier, which is you can jump first, and you can stop slow. I mean, you can slow earlier, which means you have better jump speed. Okay. So anyway, this is how you the benefit for you cutting the chassis, because two things. For cutting the chassis, first thing, it's easy to mounting all the large diameter roller. Second thing, it's you're gonna shorten the distance of the roller distance, and this thing gonna improve the corner speed. It makes more easier to modify your car, and it's hard to keep all the dimension on the legal Tamiya regulation. Okay, so if you want more lightweight, you can think about it to cut off the battery compartment like this, but make sure you keep the maximum support for the battery, because you don't want to overcutting the battery compartment. And take a look at it. Okay, you see there's a two line right here, which is right here. Let me focus a bit, you can see it. Okay, if you want to cut the battery compartment, basically I recommend you cutting from here and here to here. Okay, please do not cut this piece right here. There's a little bit like a line right here. Please, you have to do not remove anything right here, this point right here. Don't cut that, and here, don't cut that, because the reason why, because that's the part gonna be give you a little bit of support for the battery. If you overcutting it, the battery gonna drop to the bottom. Okay, so anyway, try to keep this part right here a little bit. So only part you're gonna remove is this piece right here. Okay, right here. So basically, it's gonna be looks like this. Okay, so again, For maximum support, so you have to keep some part of the battery compartment. Do not completely remove the battery compartment because it's gonna be damage the chassis. Also, your chassis is gonna be really weak. And as you know, if your chassis is getting weak, the problem is like you don't have maximum support for the when it's land and the jumps, because when it's land and jumps, your chassis take a lot of impact. Okay. Anyway, thank you for watching my YouTube channel. For next video, I'm gonna talk about more about how to more advantage about how to cut off MA chassis.